Hey, you played against my dad. Your first NBA game ever, really.
LeBron James is now the oldest player in the NBA at 39 years old. And then on the complete opposite end, the youngest player in the entire league just turned 19 at the end of last year. That's not even half of LeBron's age. In fact, he's the same age as Bronny. Normally, with kids this young entering the league, it takes a while to become NBA ready and go out and contribute. But this is no ordinary 19-year-old. In fact, GG Jackson is sending a message to every team that passed on him in the draft. Despite being drafted with the 45th pick in the second round, Jackson is shocking everybody. Though his rise to glory might intrigue you, we will see him go from being a high school sensation to falling in the draft before becoming a shining light for a Memphis squad that didn't have much to smile about this year. GG may have been the steal of this draft, and should he stay committed to learning and improving, something big could be coming his way. But more on that later. Memphis has been in a rut this season, with injuries everywhere you look. It gave the Grizzlies no choice but to dive deep into their roster, and in an intriguing turn of events, they may have stumbled upon their next potential core player, who just happens to also currently be the youngest player in the entire NBA. But before he started dropping buckets in the big leagues, Jackson's career started on the courts of South Carolina. Growing up in Columbia, basketball wasn't a sport for GG. It was etched in his DNA. His natural skills and athleticism grew early, making him a star by the time he entered Ridgeview High School. He led his team to back-to-back South Carolina state championships, averaging a double-double with elite scoring and rebounds. By his junior season, Jackson had exploded, averaging a startling 22 points, 11 rebounds, and over 2 blocks per game. He wasn't only a scorer, he was a defensive anchor, receiving the coveted South Carolina Basketball Gatorade Player of the Year honors. College coaches around the country took note. Ranked the #1 recruit in the 2023 class, Jackson was a consensus 5-star player with nearly boundless potential. Programs like Auburn, Duke, Georgetown, and of course, the University of South Carolina all sought him mercilessly. Initially, Jackson felt a draw toward the famed program in North Carolina, and he committed soon after his junior season. But the attraction of home finally proved too powerful. In an unexpected flip, Jackson decommitted from UNC, becoming the first player to do so since J.R. Smith in 2003. He finally elected to remain near his family by enrolling at the University of South Carolina, reclassifying to the 2022 class. Jackson's collegiate stint at South Carolina gave him crucial experience, averaging a solid 15 points and 8 rebounds. However, it wasn't the statistical explosion many anticipated. Based on his high school dominance, whispers surfaced of inconsistencies and a need for additional development. These doubts remained as draft day neared. Though predicted as a possible lottery choice and a top 14 selection, Jackson's name began to slide during the first round. And to the amazement of the then 18-year-old, he now found himself still without a landing spot in the second round. It wasn't until the 45th pick that GG could breathe a sigh of relief when the Memphis Grizzlies picked him up. This was a tremendous surprise. Draft experts were left scratching their heads. What had caused GG Jackson to fall so far from being ranked the #1 prospect coming out of high school? Was he too young? Was he mentally not ready? Did the decision to play at South Carolina cause him to fall? There were a lot of questions, but one thing was for certain. GG Jackson, now the youngest player in the NBA, had a lot to prove. The Memphis Grizzlies have had an uphill struggle this season. A plague of injuries has swept through the team, leaving their roster depleted and their playoff hopes erased early. Key players like Ja Morant and Desmond Bane have been out for most of the year, forcing the Grizzlies to search deep into their roster for solutions. But despite the difficulties, a light of hope has emerged. Rookie wonder GG Jackson. He has astonished everyone with his quick impact. His young exuberance is contagious, thrilling the audience with his highlight reel dunks and hustling plays. Despite being the youngest player in the league, Jackson doesn't shy away from contact. He puts his body into rebounds, competes for loose balls, and defends with a determination that belies his years. But it's not only hustling that makes Jackson distinctive. He boasts a well-rounded skill set that is quickly growing. He can knock down three-pointers with a fluid shooting stroke, attack the basket with explosiveness, and finish around the rim with authority. His rise has been a blessing for the Grizzlies. Jackson has effortlessly stepped into the starting lineup, bringing much-needed scoring and passion. His ability to generate his own shot and get to the free throw line has helped reduce the offensive load on the remaining healthy Grizzlies. He's become a fan favorite in Memphis, and his growth will be an interesting tale potential to follow in the coming seasons. Will he continue to bloom into a star? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, GG Jackson is a name to keep an eye on. Look, GG's got skills, but his best asset is his willingness to learn. Before a game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Jackson, a sharp observer, soaks in every element of Giannis's methodical approach, from his stretching routines to his pre-game ball handling exercises. This drive to learn from the greatest is a tribute to Jackson's constant ambition to develop. His hard-working ethic goes well beyond the pre-game limelight. Behind the scenes, Jackson puts in grueling hours in the gym, polishing his talents and pushing himself to new limits. After GG dropped 27 points on 59% shooting, and the undermanned Grizzlies pulled out an unexpected win against the Bucks, Giannis had nothing but praise for the youngster. "Very good player, man. Very good player," Giannis said. Not scared of the big not scared of the big moment, made tough shots, can move his feet, very long player. He has a bright future in this league. He's an extremely good player. Giannis Glazy. The next week, GG was doing it again, this time watching Kawhi Leonard practice his mid-range jumpers 2 hours before tip-off. When asked about why he was keeping such a close eye on the star, Jackson replied, "I kinda just like the way he moves, and I'm a little starstruck." The way GG Jackson was able to burst onto the scene shows he has no fear and no hesitation when it comes to making plays with confidence. On top of that, he plays with a sense of passion that many players lack nowadays. After dropping 23 points at the beginning of the season, he got the opportunity to talk with Shaq and the crew on TNT. His reaction is everything.
GG Shaq here. I don't have any questions. I just want to say congratulations, young fella.
Jackson's adventure is far from over. He's still a raw talent, but the promise is evident. With his relentless devotion to learning, rigorous work ethic, and contagious enthusiasm for basketball, GG Jackson has all the elements to become a great player in the NBA. The league should be on notice because this young rookie is here to stay. The comparisons have already started. Look at GG Jackson's long limbs and muscular body, and you can't help but detect traces of the Greek freak himself. Both feature a unique mix of size, agility, and ball handling abilities that make them matchup problems for opposing teams. But the parallels don't end there. Just like Giannis, Jackson has a persistent work ethic and a devotion to adding strength and size to his frame. Imagine the force he'll become once he fills out his physique and has the same overwhelming strength as Giannis. The notion of Jackson dominating his way to the basket and finishing with power is enough to fill Memphis fans with excitement. GG Jackson's potential is nothing short of sky high. With his well-rounded talent, devotion to studying, and apparent love for the game, he has all the attributes required to become a formidable power forward in the NBA one day. The young Grizzlies' path from high school wonder to surprise draft slider to emerging star is nothing short of remarkable. His work ethic, contagious enthusiasm, and raw skill have taken the NBA by storm. The future is bright for this young talent, and Memphis Grizzlies fans are blessed to experience his progress firsthand. We'll be keeping a careful check on GG Jackson as he continues to grow and mature. If you like keeping up with basketball's young stars, then you'll love what we have in store for you. Join us next time as we look at another up-and-coming NBA wonder kid.